Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Memoria Freese video, and welcome to the final rerun gacha banners before the anniversary begins. These are the final pre-anniversary gacha banners. We have the ASTREA Record Ultimate Clash banner along with the Twilight Dream gacha banner. We're going to be going over all four of these units. We're going to be talking about whether or not you should even consider summoning on them with the anniversary only 3 days away. And just generally, we're going to take a look back at all of these units and just see how they stand up in this day and age. Now, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Memoria Freese content, and let me know in the comment section down below, did you guys plan on summoning for these units? And if so, did you guys get anything? Hopefully you guys got some good luck, and hopefully you guys got what you wanted with very little iris spent, because that is the name of the game now. Little iris spent. You guys should not be spending any iris whatsoever with this week coming up. I mean, we're already on Monday. Literally, tomorrow is the anniversary live stream. Thursday morning, the banners drop. We will be live for both of those events. We will be live tomorrow for the live stream, and we will also be live for when the banners drop. So it's going to be insane. And with that being said, of course, like always, I think I've been saying it for the past week whenever we've done these rerun gacha banners. Don't summon unless you are really close, or you have like a stupid amount of iris. Like if you have like 40,000 plus iris, maybe then maybe then, and even then I would probably say, hang on a second, you probably want to save that iris, because then you can overspend on the anniversary gacha banners instead. So frankly speaking, at this point in time, I would not recommend anybody summons on these banners, to be quite honest. Either of these banners, or any banner for that matter, none of these banners you should be summoning on whatsoever, purely because of how close we are to the anniversary. We're just a couple of days away, and you should be focusing on that instead. That being said, though, we need to talk about how good these units are in this day and age. I do not have paid iris. Do not make me spend paid iris. We need to talk about how good these units are in this day and age. Now, of course, if you haven't checked out my most recent videos, I have made two tier lists consisting of all the adventures and all the assists. They're split into two videos, basically. So one is the adventure only tier list, and the other one is the assist only tier list. You can go and check out those two videos. I go into detail about exactly how I rank the units and everything, but a lot of these units are in the A and S tier rank of their respective tier lists, so they are still very good. But the problem is, right, is that obviously when it comes to assists, right, specifically assists, of course Althea you can kind of get away with being at +2 +3, but the assists is sort of like, it's either you go from +0 to +5. It's that big of a difference basically between +4 and +5, that it's +0, +1 to 4 is kind of okay, you just get that stats boost, but +5 is where you get that big boost in the assist skill as well. So that's where you want to summon to, right? And as a result, with only 3 guaranteed steps in the Ultimate Clash banner as well as the Twilight Dream gacha banner, I would always say that if you're at +3 or +4, then maybe consider summoning. Otherwise, you should probably be skipping these banners left, right, and center. Do not even touch the gacha button at all, to be quite honest. Like when you're in the main menu, do not click that gacha button. Do not go in there. Do not go in there. But let's take a look at these units and let's see what they're capable of doing and why they're ranked so highly. Now, first and foremost, we obviously have the Ultimate Clash banner featuring 2 assists with the form of Star Maiden Sword ASTREA and Foundation of the Future Erebus. So let's take a look at ASTREA, who in my personal opinion is one of the best assists in the game, in all honesty, frankly speaking. A very good assist. High agility stats are really good for PvP. Obviously that's really solid, but furthermore, adding on to that PvP factor, Star Memories plus the MLB assist skill for ASTREA gives allies null ailment ×4, which is fantastic. P-Res and M-Res plus 15%, which is defensive boost, which is great. And then on top of that, she also gives fire, water, thunder, wind, earth, light, and dark attack damage plus 15%. So she supports any team, literally any team she can fit on, because she gives an attack boost on any sort of element, basically. Any sort of element that there is, she gives an attack damage boost basically, which is fantastic. That makes her a very universal unit, and on top of that, the null ailment ×4, when you go up against ailment units, right, this is what you kind of need to have basically. This is what you kind of need to have. So as a result of that, she's a phenomenal unit, a very strong assist, and a sort of must have But the problem is, like I said, if you go into it with +0, it's only null ailment times 2, P-Res, M-Res 10%, and fire, water, earth, elemental damage plus 10% basically, right? I don't think that's good enough. Now, if it was null ailment times 3, I would have said even at +0, she's not a bad assist to go for, to be quite honest. She'll be a fantastic option for so many players, including myself. In all honesty, she would be a better option if she had null ailment times 3 at base LB +0, that is. If she had null ailment times 3, I would have probably gone for her instead of the seer that I usually run for my null ailments, because she's null ailment times 3 minus like 15% or 20% P-Res and M-Res, which is great, but this gives so much more. It gives P-Res, M-Res plus, so a defensive boost as well as an offensive boost. So it's very, very good there. So ASTREA, really solid assist, but again, just because of how the difference is between +0 to +5, you have to take that into consideration as well, right? Not to mention that there is also a non-time limited iteration that does give null ailment times 4 as well, in the form of Festive Seer from the previous anniversary that was a non-time limited unit. So yeah, that's something to take into account as well. And it's very possible that we might also see null ailment times 5 this upcoming anniversary, because every anniversary we have gotten a form of null ailment unit. First anniversary, there was one. Second anniversary, there was one. Third anniversary, there was one. Fourth anniversary, there was one. Fifth anniversary, there was also one technically as well, but it wasn't part of the part 1, part 2, part 3 celebration. Technically, it was like an add-on non-time limited unit that they do usually every year, where they give like certain characters like robes and dresses and gowns basically, and that's what that seer was basically. She was part of the 5th anniversary, but like a non-time limited unit basically for that anniversary. So bear that in mind, is that it's very, very likely that we will be getting a null ailment times unit for this upcoming anniversary. So that's something to acknowledge when considering whether or not to summon on this banner. Now, Foundation of the Future Erebus, a strength based assist, as you can see right there, and his ability is quite interesting to say the least. Godly Affection plus, God rate, counter rate, and heal minus 30%, and self +3 instant effects of when magically attacked, null magic attack times 1, and removes STR debuffs on allies once per turn. It's a very interesting unit, right? In that he is sort of like a stall breaker assist effectively, right? You're using him to effectively break down stall with the god rate, counter rate, and heal reduction, along with the null magic attack effectively, and also removing STR debuffs on allies once per turn. It's nice, but I wouldn't say it's insane. He is a unit I would probably put in like maybe B to A. I could see certain uses for him, and on the right team he would probably be A. But otherwise, I would say generally for most players, he'll probably be a B unit, because he's not as universal as, say, for example, ASTREA is, right? So that's also something to acknowledge when it comes to these assists, is you have to kind of figure out how good are they everywhere, right? And how good are they on any team, basically. And obviously, Erebus is solid on a stall breaker team, but beyond that, it's a bit tricky to place him, right? So that's something to bear in mind. Overall, still though, he's a solid unit, just something to acknowledge in terms of a flaw when it comes to him for sure. So yeah, that's Erebus for you. I mean, his his +0 effect, god rate, counter rate, and heal minus 20%, and only 2 instant effects basically. Otherwise, it's the same thing, it's just 1 less instant effect and 10% less debuffs basically for Erebus right here. Now, let's move over to the Twilight Dream Gacha banner, which obviously consists of 1 adventure and 1 assist in the form of Althea and Zard respectively. So Althea, which is Serene Dreams Althea, and Crossroad Dreams Zard, 2 units that I kind of really like a lot, to be quite honest. I really like Althea, for example. She's been a unit that I have used in both PvE contents and PvP contents regularly, and I really find a lot of use in her, of course, right? A wind magic attack type unit. She does have her flaws though, but I still enjoy using her quite a bit. You can see her stats right there. Good spread overall, good agility, good magic, decent dexterity, okay-ish endurance. Nothing to write home about. Her special arts Divine World Incarnate is an AoE Ultra Wind magic attack with temporary grade magic boost and Ultra on God rate. It also removes status buffs from foes. And also on top of that, if my Elgato would come back, it also removed status debuffs from herself, which is really solid. The only thing I would have preferred there is if she could remove status debuffs on all allies instead. It would have helped tremendously. And we're back. I had to just fix it because it was just not coming back up. And also, just generally, it would have been a super nice ability to have. She also gives +4 actions of mid-wind magic attack, damage plus 60% per each self-STR magic and agility reduction skill, and ultra on god rate on foes, and remove status debuffs and 60% HP heal on self. Now, the thing is, right, this is where I don't really like her that much, because a lot of her kit, right, is reliant on her being inflicted with a debuff, right? Like, for example, here, for the additional action, she can get 60% extra damage per each self-STR magic and agility reduction skill, which means in PvE contents that would reach a maximum of like 120 to 180% if you're lucky, and then in obviously PvP content it will go up to 360%, but it also removes the status debuffs, so you're gonna remove at least like the three of them, because the adventure status debuffs will be removed, the assist debuffs will still be there, so you'll still get 180% damage. But it's a very tricky sort of damage boost to rely on, because you're focused on stripping away any sort of debuffs that's on you. You're also focused on ensuring that you're attacking as fast as possible, so you're never going to see this in effect in PvP as well. So it's a very annoying sort of additional action, but if you can get all the boosts off, you're living good, because it's going to deal a lot of additional action damage for sure. Her first skill, Implicit Song, is a allies fast agility, P-res and M-res 40%, which is very solid, and damage received attack type single target minus 40%, and self ailment res plus 40% for 4 turns, and 3 additional actions of mid-wind magic attack, damage plus 40% per each self STR magic and agility reduction skill, so the same issue is here as well, and ultra on god rate on foes, and remove status debuffs and 40% HP heal on self. Again, very nice abilities and all, but like, again, I'm not the biggest fan of certain things here. Obviously, I'm okay with the fact that it's a fast buff and everything. I would have obviously preferred it being slow, getting that agility control going basically, and ensuring you're able to give your allies that agility boost without it getting stripped away by some unit, right? But still, generally speaking, the other stuff as well, P-res, M-res supportability, damage reduction from single target attacks, going up against counter teams, it'll help a little bit, right? And overall, just generally what else she does here is very solid for sure, right? It's very solid and pretty nice to say the least, to be quite honest. Now, her second skill, Twilight Voice, is an AoE fast super wind magic attack with ultra on counter rate and damage received attack type all targets plus 40%, and self magic agility and wind attack damage plus 60% for 4 turns. It's not bad. I think it's pretty solid overall. The issue is obviously being a fast ability and obviously not having any sort of agility control on the first turn, in the sense of like, if it gets stripped away, she'll go slow anyways on the second turn. It's one of the things I've noticed is a little bit of a flaw with her, is that you want to use Twilight Voice at the start of the turn, right, as fast as possible. But because of how everything goes, right, your agility gets stripped away, or you get inflicted with debuffs and stuff like that, it ends up going like mid-turn, which is not really the best position for her. So that's the only real issue I would have with that ability, to be quite honest. Still though, overall very solid and very strong though. When it goes into play and you can get the damage off, the this attack plus the additional action ends up dealing a very decent amounts of damage. It's so nice. White Lullaby is a single target fast super wind magic attack, damage plus 40% per each target's STR magic and agility reduction skill, and ultra on god rate and sleep. Solid ability. Again, this is more reliant on the opponent's debuffs basically, so you'll have to debuff the opponent's strength, magic, and agility basically. And that can be a good and bad thing. Like I've said many a times, when you debuff an enemy, especially in Record Buster, and make their attacks weaker, you're also running into the risk of losing out on counters as well. So that's something that I would take note of when you're using this unit's third skill, is like, you'll want to get more damage from your third skill, but you'll also lose overall damage through the additional counters basically, right? So that's something to bear in mind when it comes to this Althea basically. So let's take a look at the skill and development abilities now. So she gives herself P-Res and M-Res basically as an additional bonus, 25% each, which is great. And then just generally everything else seems to be the normal stuff basically, nothing too crazy there. Now let's take a look at Zard, Crossroad Dream Zard. Very good dexterity stats, so it makes him a really good option for PvE content. And what makes him an additionally good PvE content unit is his assist skill. Twilight Road plus the MLB assist skill is an AoE damage increase for AoE attacks by 25%. The only one to do that, by the way, and allies penetration rate plus 30%. But yes, this Zard is the only one with 25% AoE damage increase as well, so that's something to bear in mind. Now, because he's the only one, I wouldn't be surprised if we get another iteration of this type of unit in the anniversary, like say for example how we got Kid Felice, right, who was single target damage increase by 25%, and then the third anniversary rerun buffed up Asfi to do the same thing as that Kid Felice as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happens in this upcoming anniversary, where we get a unit that is capable of doing the same thing as Zard. It's just that the allies penetration rate plus 30% will probably change to something else entirely. So that's again one more thing to bear in mind, is like Zard is also a unit that I could see getting a replacement just like ASTREA. Like ASTREA, there will be a null element times unit. I can also see an AoE damage increasing type assist, maybe in part 2, part 3, who knows, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, that's also something to acknowledge, is like we don't know when these units will come out, right? Some of these replacements might be in part 1, some of them might be in part 2, and some of them might be in part 3 or part 4, how many ever parts they plan on doing. So that's also something to acknowledge. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of these units. I'm very curious to see if you guys did plan on summoning for these units, or did you guys go for these units? And if so, let me know what you guys got in the comment section down below. I know so many people who are going for ASTREA, and I understand why, but I would just be wary if you haven't summoned yet, to consider the fact that every anniversary we have gotten a null ailment times unit. So bear that in mind. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Memoria Freese content. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.